Hotep family, and greetings. I am Dr. Nteri Nelson, co-founder of the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness, a metaphysician, clinician, and an educator. And the name of our planetary Earth Netcher is Geb. Geb is the Netcher or God of Earth. And our purpose is to understand the meaning of the Planetary Netcher, Geb. So here we see the names of Geb and the goose who laid the golden sun egg, and variously translated as Neg-Ga-Ur or Ging-Ging-Ur, Neggur, Neg-Neg-Ur, Ging-Ging-Ur, or God. Geb is our local egg or eye or Netcher or God or consciousness. Geb is the god of earth, and he is called the house of Geb. And the goose that we see on the head of Geb is sacred to this Netcher. It is believed that this is how he made his way through the air in the form of this goose goddess. And the golden goose on the head of Geb is the symbol of fertility, virility, and generativity. This is the goose goddess, the golden goose who laid the golden sun egg, the egg of consciousness. And we learn from our sacred text that Geb and his female counterpart Nut produced the great egg. And Geb is also called the Ur-Pot or the great cackler. And in the Kemetic tradition, the divine goose or great cackler laid the cosmic egg. And to cackle means to be the great cackler means to stir, to arise, to bring into activity, to give movement and livingness, just like a rooster in the morning. Geb is the great cackler, stirring movement. And if you dispel the word cackler, it is also the great clocker, meaning it is Geb that brings time, starts time in this awakening, and starts consciousness within this space-time continuum. Geb is the great cackler. And our African ancestors teach us the following, quote, originally, he was the god of the earth and is called both the father of the gods and the Urpa of the gods. He is depicted in human form, sometimes with the crown upon his head and the scepter in his right hand. And sometimes he has upon his head a goose, which bird was one of his incarnations. In many places, he is called the great cackler. And in M.A.G.A. Netcher, this word is Nega-Ga-Ur, Nega-Ur. And he was supposed to have laid the egg from which the world sprang. Already in the pyramid text, he has become also the god of the dead by virtue of representing the earth wherein the deceased were laid. Here we see the pictographs or the ideographs for the N, the G, and the UR sounding. But before we move to penetrate more deeply into the egg, into this egg of consciousness. We want to penetrate deeply into our cosmic genealogy, because Geb and Nut are the Neteru, the gods of the human family. It is Shu and Tefnut who give birth to Geb and Nut, and it is Geb and Nut who give birth to Auset, Osir, Nebuchadnezzar or Nephthys, Set, and Haru, the elder. Our African texts teach us the following, quote, "They proceeded from me. Shu and Tefnut give birth to Geb and Nut. Geb and Nut give birth to Osir, Auset, Set, Nebuchadnezzar, and Her Kent A Maati from the womb, one after the other of them. They give birth and they multiply in this earth." In this spiritual journey of unfolding consciousness, in this world period, we have been witness to the law of vibration in operation, where words have vibrated at a higher vibration and words have vibrated at a lower vibration. As we've moved from times more spiritual into times more material, and we understand in the spiritual journey of unfolding consciousness, we are making this shift from that which has been most material and dense and dark into a re-spiritualization of consciousness. We are the one and the same ancestors who, in the higher spiritual vibration of our planet, we watched the shade go down as we saw this descent from the spiritual cycle of consciousness into this material cycle of consciousness. We are the very same ancestors now who are watching the shade go up in this re-spiritualization of consciousness. And I have been coming before you for some time in these works, decades now, in making this penetration and in making this shift through all the material coarseness, through all the vibration, through the dense lower vibration, through all the coarseness of that dense material vibration, and through the trauma and the pain, and through even the numbing to our African wisdom. When M.A.G.A. Netcher was vibrating at its higher vibration, some of the words we knew and understood were the words Neggur, the goose goddess who laid the golden sun egg, Ging-Ging-Er, the goose who laid the cosmic egg, Neg-A, the bull ox cow, symbol of heaven, symbol of virility, symbol of fertility. And I return us to a previous slide to see our African ancestors in these 7 planes of consciousness, the spiraling in consciousness from lowest matter to highest spiritual matter, because spirit is matter at its lowest form, matter is spirit at its highest form. They teach us that Neg is the bull located here, the bull of heaven, who is making its seeming ascent and seeming descent in this cycle of in this journey of unfolding consciousness, this journey through the 70 soul bodies and divisions of spirit that our African ancestors have given us. So Neg, we understand in its highest spiritualization of consciousness, is us, the bull, the cow, the god, the symbol of virility and fertility and life, symbolic of the egg of creation. In our higher vibration, we resonate with the word NAGA, cackler, to cackle, to start time, to arouse, to imbue life. Negat, which is semen or essence. Negus or Negus, which is the king, the Ethiopian king. Neg is king in many languages. It is king in Konig, which is the Dutch, Konig, and in the German, Konig, or Koniging. It is the Negus, the king. It is Ginging, which is seed or plant or medicine. It is Gingingu, which is the record or archive. It is Kring or Negring, which is the Hekar or mantra in M.A.G.A. Netcher and in also the language of Sanskrit. And even in the English language, we find the word ging or gring. We find generous, gene, generativity, green, which is Neggur, genital, genius, integrity, ing. Ing is to bring into action of everything, to be, to do, a beingness, engineer, dignity, energy itself, and English. And in the Kakongo language, on a higher turn of the spiral, we find that word English. We also find that at a lower turn of the spiral, which I'll talk about in a moment. Also on a higher turn of the spiral, we find the Kakongo Nginga, which is seed. On a lower vibration, we find in M.A.G.A. Netcher the words Neginging, to destroy, to break. Nega, to strike, to smite, to cut off. Nega, to lack, to want, to be short of. Negeb, to break, to be destroyed. Neging, to cut or to slay. And in the English, we find such words as denigrate, degenerate, degenerate, niggardly, nigger, ignorant, indigent. We find the word English. We find the word to genuflect or genocide, negative, neglect, Negro. We find at its lowest spiral the word gun, which is neg dispelled, neg in reverse. The gun, the weapon of destruction on our earth, the weapon that has been used against African people. In coming full circle, 360 degrees in our journey of unfolding consciousness and understanding the journey of unfolding consciousness, the spiritual journey of unfolding consciousness, we come in connecting with our Caduceus symbol, the Ka succeeding, this very powerful symbol of healing in our Kemetic cosmology, our Kemetic wisdom, that we may find the antidote of the serpent and take this medicine at this time in our dimensional shifting, that we may heal ourselves, that we may transmute the energies, that we may heal the traumas, that we may heal from words that have been potentized to be injurious to African people, and that we may see the way to transmute these energies as we work as skilled clinicians, as we work as skilled clinicians, as we work as skilled chematicians, as we work as skilled metaphysicians. We understand that like a diamond thrown into a dumpster, the power of our Kemetic cosmology to reconnect us to the new inward, the primal, from the beginningless beginning, endless word, the noon, that we may bathe ourselves, that we may refresh ourselves, that we may cleanse ourselves, that we may recharge ourselves from the accumulated and cleanse ourselves from the accumulated filth of this age, and that we may be bathed and revitalized, resurrected, and renewed.